Hi. Have you ever had that challenge where you work on something and you keep working on it, keep working on it, keep trying to change things for the better, and it just seems to keep coming back around, like new things pop up. So, for example, like you're scared of giving birth and you do hypnobirthing and you feel better for a bit, then there's another fear, there's another fear, there's just always more and you can't tell why. Or maybe you're scared of selling something in your business, scared of moving forwards in your business, and you've tried all kinds of different strategies and you still feel scared, you still hold back, and you can't understand why you do when other people aren't and they're getting on with things. So I'm Charlotte Kanye and I'm just making a short video today with a little story that I think illustrates that quite well when it comes to what I do, which is healing your own birth story and how that connects in with your current life and those challenges that really can frustrate you and they keep coming back. So I was driving back from one of my jobs and I I just started thinking about this. And so it's kind of like imagine you've moved into a new house, a new place, and the people before you, they had this table. It's been there a long time, kind of like a heritage table. It's a really lovely table, but it just doesn't fit. You want a pool table or a games table, and this is like a dining room table, and it's bang in the middle of the room, and it kind of obscures the entrance and how you're going to change the room, and it's just not right. It's just not what you want there. And it's probably rotten and got woodworm and all kind of stuff, but it's a table, you know, and it's got legs holding it up. And so you think, well, can I lift it? No, it's too heavy to lift in one go. No, it's like massive solid wood, you know, like, because it's old school, old style stuff, not like the modern fall apart rubbish stuff that you get made not to last. This was made to last. And so you think, well, you know, it's too big to get out the door as well. Like, it's just massive. And you look at it and you just feel overwhelmed. But then you think, well, you know, maybe I can chip away. Let's start with a table leg. So you go, you know, and you bang at it with a hammer, push at it, and it wobbles a bit, and you get there and you get a saw out and you saw it off. And even though it's kind of bolted to the floor, you get some screwdrivers out and you do really well. You got a table off and you think, ah, so maybe it'll just fall over. And this is what you're hoping for, because you've got rid of one table leg and you go and put that in the bin. And you push on the table and I don't know, maybe it's wobbly. Is it wobbly? I said, I made a difference on. Do you know what? It's just one table leg. Let's do the next one. We're on a roll. Let's do the next one. Move around the table. You get to the next table leg, and I don't know. You know, you're there, and this one's a bit stiffer. Seems to be really hardwood. So you get a bigger saw, sawing away. Your arms falling off. You're really working hard. You're ready to give up, but you know, finally you can see that you've got halfway through. You start from this. You know, it takes you a few days, takes you a while, but you get rid of the table leg. You do it. You're really chuffed with this. You really, you know, it's an amazing achievement, and it is. You know, you've got 2 table legs down now. And you'd think the table would fall over, right? You were kind of expecting that the table would fall over, you'd be able to lift it out, and then you've got this big, wide open space of a room to fill up with your dream pool table games room and all the things that you'd like to put in there. I have done this. This is where I got the idea from. Like, I have a mini pool table. It takes up most of one of my rooms with a table tennis topper for the kids, and what I wanted when I was a child, I'm doing it now. So I think that's where that idea came from. You might have a different idea, but anyway, you've still got this dream in your head. You want that pool table. And so, so you're like, well, maybe it's just such strong legs and they're sort of supporting that tabletop that even though it's one-sided now, maybe a bit more wobbly, maybe it's giving there. You jump up and down on it, but no, it's not getting anything. So you go, right, well, you know, there's a finite number of legs here. You go around, you get to the 3rd leg, your biggest saw out, feels a bit blunt, you get a new saw, you get a new saw, another saw, shiny, bright red, really thick blades. You saw away, you get someone to help, you get a 2-man saw, pulling away on it. And you know, you call your neighbor, your best friend, and there's 2 of you pulling away on it. There's someone else telling you what to do, and you're there, and it's hard work. You're sweating away. Anyway, you get the point. You get the table leg out finally, after, like, you know, what feels like weeks and months and years of stress, and a couple of days getting the table leg out, and you're like, Joe, this is impossible now. We know the laws of physics, of gravity. 1 table leg in the corner, and the table's massive, but it hasn't fallen over. You're like, You feel good though. You're feeling better. It's like you're on the way, you're on the path, got rid of 3 table legs, and your dream is in sight, your dream is there. So you think, well, you know, I don't understand this. Really, I don't. Like, the table is still standing. It shouldn't be. It's impossible. Okay, it's still standing. Kick the table leg a bit. Like, just fall over, jump on it. You have a party jumping, like, no. Even with you and your neighbour and your friends and still start. Okay, we'll get back to the saws, and someone brings in some dynamite. You know, let's do a proper job. I think I got that idea from one of my storybooks I read to the kids. But anyway, you blow up the table leg. You think this is gonna do it. You've really gone all out on this, and then somehow this table is still standing, and you're like, this is really impossible. We have no legs left, just with no legs to stand on this table. You're like, but this big obstruction in the way of your dream. So you're like, so you go around to look around the table, and blow me down. That expression came from. There's a new leg. Where's that come from? And it looks fresh and new, little green shoots on, like a tree growing. And this table, this wooden table, it's growing new legs. There's only one missing now, the one you just chopped off. So you think, oh. So anyway, you go around, you get 3 of you and your friends chopping all the legs simultaneously. You get all the legs gone simultaneously, and you go and get some stuff to put on, you know, that wood killing stuff. No. In the meantime, the other leg's growing back. You're like, what is going on? And you're just mystified by this, because, you know, once you get rid of the table legs, table should fall, get the table out, chop the table in half, whatever, and we just can't get through the table. And then something calls you to look under the table, right underneath the table. The table's all you can see. It takes up most of the room. And you can really just see this table. It's like you've got to inch around the table to get, this is what it's like actually with my pool table. You can inch around the table to get through the room. Will the door open fully? But, you know, you crawl down on your hands and knees in all the wood dust from the sawing. And you look, and there's a massive tree trunk holding up the middle of the table, and it's still alive. So when you chop those old dead legs off that were supporting the edges, sending out shoots across the table. As fast as you can chop them down, it's sending out shoots. You chop one old leg down, a new one comes. And it's so solid. Even if you chopped around the table, you'd end up with a raw, sort of solid, round wood tree trunk table. Still pretty solid. And you just hadn't seen it. You hadn't seen that leg, because you couldn't see it. It was in the middle. It's surrounded by ordinary table legs. And you know what a table's supposed to look like? It's not supposed to have 4 legs and 1 in the middle, because it doesn't need the 1 in the middle. So you thought. So, but now, finally, you know why the table cannot be moved. So you get to that big tree trunk table, and you come along with your neighbours, friends, Wixes, whoever's chainsaw, because I don't think this big trunk. Anyway, you chop the tree trunk out, you chop it all down, and finally you can remove this table. Finally, you can bring in what you really want in that room. And this, I think, I've just got images of chainsaws and dynamite. This comes from, gosh, I shouldn't go off at a tangent in the middle of a story. I'll put it in the comments. What this links to for me is that healing your own birth experience is not something that comes to mind straight away, right? Because you can't remember it, you can't see it, you don't think of it. But as I shared, if you look at one of my previous videos, I'll link to that. It can be really, really the thing that's impacting you. And because you haven't seen it, you haven't been looking at that. You've been knocking around all the others, and they're going to be really useful, because if we'd just taken out the middle tree trunk, it might have been enough, because the others were just offshoots. But it might have been easier to get past those other legs by knocking them out first and then go to the tree trunk. There's always, you can play with this analogy, but what you can't see, what you don't think of to look, that might be the thing that's holding you in this stuck place that you've really been wanting to see, wanting to think about. So that would be my hope, that if you have enjoyed this story, and it might be a new idea for you to wonder, how were you born? How was it for you as a baby when you first came in, and what imprinting, what patterns are put in place that you haven't seen, that are so strong for that baby in you, that still alive for that baby in you, that it's recreating structures and strategies and programming that you'd rather leave behind. So I hope you enjoyed that story. I'm Charlotte Canny, founder of Birth Essence, and you can go along and have a look on my website, www.birthessence.co.uk, where you'll find a fabulous explore your birth story workbook that you can download for free, and other resources and blog posts and stories and things that I'm adding to every week. So I hope you enjoyed the story.